Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow out of Diagnostics. We're at a shop about an hour and a half away from State College. Got called in on this 2011 Nissan Sentra. 33,000 miles, old lady drives it, and the story was she was driving it and it just quit on her. Took it to another shop, and here we go. Don here, he'll correct me if I leave out any parts from the parts canon. But we had spark plugs, a fuel pump, all the coils, and then they put the original ones back on. Catalytic converter, maybe. You saw signs that it was taken off?
There was signs it was taken off.
Okay, but you're not sure if it's new or not? Okay. And then that shop said, hey, start it up, drove it around the block, and then it died again. Never ran, got towed here. And Don, he did his own diagnostics, checked fuel pressure, checked the injector pulse, put fresh plugs in it. He replaced the upstream air-fuel ratio sensor because there was some rodent damage on it, so that's brand new. Did a back pressure test on the cat. He said there's zero back pressure when it's running. He said it runs super rich. Like minus 25% fuel trims, it bogs out. Not happy, the plugs get soaked. And then he said he popped off this hose right here. So this is the air intake system. There's the mass airflow sensor. This is the fresh air vent for the PCV system. And then the PCV valve is right here. So you have vacuum going back to the intake manifold. He took this hose off and he said the fuel trims stabilized, the car ran pretty decent. Okay, so that's where we are. What would be your approach to this? No code set, just I think a P0300, random misfire code, not very helpful. So cold start, it's got fresh plugs in it. Let's pull up some live data, see what it does on a cold start. If the fuel trims go boom, right, like minus 25, and it starts running rough, we'll pop this hose off just to keep it running and see what the mass airflow does and what the injector pulse width does. So there's something really wrong in this fuel map, fuel trim situation. It's running super rich apparently. We have to figure out why. Okay, so we're starting out here just by looking at the upstream air-fuel ratio sensor. So that won't come online until it heats up, but that should happen pretty quickly. Coolant temp is at 55, engine speed's at 0. Injector pulse width is 15 or 12.6 starting out for a cold start. Mass airflow, that's basically 0. Car's not running. Intake air temp is close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So my question is, this is integrated into the mass airflow sensor. So right now with the key on, that hot wire might be heating up, and that's actually increasing the temperature of the intake temperature sensor. So that could throw you for a loop because you expect these two temperatures to be very close to each other on a cold start, but with the key on, this has been rising slowly. Let's fire it up, see what happens. So I gotta keep gassing it, and it's stalled out. Okay, let me try it one more time. 13 grams per second on the mass airflow. That's insanity. That's why it's running rich. And there's smoke everywhere. So right there, I started up and it was like idle and then stalled. And let's screenshot of that. It went up to 13 grams per second. And then Don said, well, can we unplug the mass airflow? He tried it. But Nissans are so picky that they will not run without the mass airflow sensor. So that kind of makes sense that pulling off that pipe off the valve cover reduces the reading of the mass airflow sensor and the car can stay running. So let's try that. Let's just pop that hose off and see what happens. So the hose is off, so it's going to suck in air through here instead of through the mass airflow. Let's see how it runs and what it reads. Okay, start up again. gonna give it some gas so it stays running. Oh, come on. There's so much smoke coming out of this thing, it's insane. So I have to floor it to keep it running. Otherwise it dies. That's insane. Okay. Let's see if it set any codes. It does not want to idle at all. Read fault code. No DTCs detected. Unbelievable. Well, I think we'll back it out so we don't fill the garage with smoke here and then go from there. But this is crazy stuff. Alright, so we have the mass airflow sensor unplugged right now. Our intake air reads minus 49, 0 grams per second. Let's see what happens when you start it up. I'm going to floor it. One more time. So it really doesn't like running with the mass airflow unplugged, it looks like. But it doesn't like running with it plugged in either. Can we trust the data and what is going on? This is a good one. Alright, so mass airflow sensor plugged back in. Still a start stall. I'm trying to floor it, trying to keep it alive. Let's see, does the throttle body work fine? Can you hear it moving? I guess we can put that in the data stream. I'm going to put a APP sensor, accelerator sensor 1, and then throttle position sensor 1. We'll graph that. So accelerator sensor definitely works. Let's look at the throttle. Man, it's really not happy. That works, that works. It should run. I don't see any reason why it's not like at least coughing and trying to run. Just revs up and falls on his face.
I'm gonna put this hose back on, maybe.
Yeah, okay. That was floored.
So like, I kind of would play with it, right, up and down.
Just play with it up and down.
I don't know.
All right, you get this thing running, Don. This is crazy.
I wouldn't put that there. You're not gonna have it.
Fireball. what I'm saying. Okay, okay. So that's worse than what it was before.
And
you said usually you keep it alive, right?
yeah, and I did replace the. I put the Denso air fuel ratio.
Yep, yep. That's how you do it.
You got, like, for a minute, you gotta.
So now you can pull the hose off?
Check the engine light now.
All right, hose is off. Okay. Let's try one more time, see what it does with the hose off. Something's up.
What?
Like, it's weird. You can hear it through the intake, like it's... Like maybe the timing's out?
It
Doesn't sound like it, but why would it be kind of like backfiring through the intake?
Unless it's pouring that much fuel.
So when you got it, was the oil nice and clean?
Well, it's the same oil. I didn't change it. I wanted you to smell it. I don't smell it that bad.
Okay, and the level's okay?
The level's a little over full.
A little lower full. All right, well, let it sit for a little bit. Let me take some notes. All right, here's where we are. Popped out the only accessible spark plug, number 4. Obviously, it's black and wet. This thing's dumping gas. What I want to do is just do a base engine mechanical test with a pressure transducer and see where the spark timing is with relation to top dead center. So just 2 channels. Channel 1's our sync on the ignition coil control wire. I'm not sure which wire it is. We can always move it. And channel 2, 265 PSI transducer. Let's just see what happens when we start it up. And then, yeah, go from there. So I'm just going to crank it without giving it any throttle. Okay, something useful. Let's move it back, zoom in. There's our little pulse, close to TDC. We're going up to 105 PSI, not terrible. And the exhaust plateau looks right about around 0 PSI, that's good. There's our intake. Yep, that's at 0. And then we're going down to -7. About -5 PSI. I don't see anything drastically wrong here. And it just stalls out. Put in our rulers. So that's 720. $180, 360, 540, nice compression. What the heck's going on? Okay, we got all the channels going now. That means you know the car is getting interesting. So channel 1 and 2 are still on the spark, and then in cylinder. Channel 3 is on injector number 4. Control, I want to see the pulse width of the injector, and channel 4, the yellow, is on the mass airflow sensor signal, purple wire. So got all 4 channels rolling. I'm actually going to hop in and try to rev it up and see if it starts up or not. Nope. Alright, well, we got something. I bet the spark plugs are getting so fouled out. It's not happy. Okay, back up. Spark timing's on the money. Mass airflow is at 1.3 volts. Okay. What's our injector pulse width? From here to here. About 10 milliseconds. I mean, that's a lot of fuel, and we know it's overfueling. But the fact that spark timing is really close to TDC, that and a little before, that tells me that timing looks okay. And when it ran, we could actually see, it didn't run here, it was just cranked. We could see intake and exhaust valves opening okay. We do have a new mass airflow sensor to try out. Hitachi. Now again, don't want to throw any parts at it, but right now that's the only input for the injector pulse width, and we know it's getting too much fuel. So it's either wrong gasoline or mass airflow sensor is reading too high on startup. Alright, we got a brand new Hitachi mass airflow sensor installed. Spark plug I cleaned off with a propane torch. That's reinstalled. Let's roll the scope. I guess I can save that capture and then we'll see what happens with the new mass airflow sensor. So the number to remember here is right around 1.4 volts. Alright, let's see what happens here. Oh. I'm going to try to drop the idle. It might not be happy.
But that would have been the plug style.
Probably, yeah. Well, I have that hose unplugged too. Let's see if it can hold an idle on its own. Well, it's actually idling, which is impressive. Let's look at... Oh, nope. No, I actually had the hose plugged in there. Let's see what the injector pulse width was when it was idling. Six milliseconds, And our mass airflow was at 1.8 volts. Before it was at 2.4 cranking. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference. Let's look at scan data, see if anything changed with the mass airflow actual calculated value. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. So even when we're revving it, we're at 2 volts, not even at 2.4. Before, when we were cranking, it was at, I think it was 2.4.
Yeah, it was high.
It was way high. So that's definitely a difference. So we're draining the gasoline out of this thing. I don't like it.
I don't think that smells like it.
So there should be more than 4 or 5 gallons in there. Well, so you think someone pissed in the tank?
I don't know. I don't know, but it don't.
You think it'd smell a little more fumey than that, right?
Yeah, it just.
Usually gasoline's like, whoo.
Yeah, bang in your face.
Yeah, I don't think it's volatile enough. Whatever they put in there.
It's horrible. I don't know.
So we'll drain it, put in some fresh gas, and I don't see any other variables here really. We want to do a flammability test here. So we got some in the bottle.
It's still burning.
It's still burning. it looks like there's some oil, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Here we are videotaping this.
Here comes the EPA. All right, you have some known good gas. So yeah, pour a little drop over there.
That smells like campfire.
Smells like campfire. Okay, here we go.
I don't think it's gonna burn quite as long as that one.
We'll see if the this one's more volatile. This one's leaving like oily residue everywhere, doesn't it?
That one's kind of burned right up clean.
Exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't know that we spilled something here, but here you see all this like, it's almost like oil. Did they put diesel fuel in this thing at some point? We don't know. All right, we're putting some fresh, known good gasoline in the tank. Drained about 5 gallons of this mystery orange oily fuel. We'll plug it in, see if it runs. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna prime the pump. Oh, key on. Yes. Fuel pump relay. No data. On. No leaks back there. It's all plugged in, okay. All right, fire in a hole. It'll take a little while to purge that line out.
Oh yeah.
Take a little while to purge the line out. It's probably, spark plugs are still not happy. Almost, almost. Come on, baby. One more time. And then we'll definitely need to do an oil change.
We will, for sure.
Yeah.
What's supposed to get tired is some other stuff.
You want to try out the starting fluid again?
Yeah.
All right, go for it. So once you stop spraying, just plug that hole with your finger.
Okay.
Right? Yep. Well, you can unplug the finger to keep it running. Let's try again. All right, try number 5. Oh, it's getting better. Yeah, it's getting better. Yep, we can put it right back on. I think we're back in business. It's actually idling on its own with everything plugged in, right, Don?
Yes, sir.
Look, it's got some throttler spines.
Now it does. I think we gotta change the oil.
Yeah, let's let it warm up a little bit. Change the oil out.
Take it for a rip.
Yeah. So with that much, when it's over full of oil and it has that weird flammable, semi-flammable stuff in it, it's gonna mess with the fuel trims. So we'll change the oil out, take it to the gas station, take it for a rip. We take it to fuel trims right now. Just go into OBD2 mode.
Sounds better than it has.
Yeah, the spark plugs are probably still a little funky, but let's read the live data. Take a look at these fuel trims. We'll select all. So 4.6 grams per second on the mass airflow, that's okay. Engine coolant temp's warmed up. Closed loop. Long term is 0 and short term about minus 10%. Okay, perfect, because we have fuel in the oil. That's working fine. Bank 1 sensor 2 is alive. That's good. So let's put in the original mass airflow sensor. Take this thing to the gas station. And if I shut it off, it should fire right back up like nobody's business. Like that.
I bet it's gonna be catalyst.
Yeah, we don't know. Check engine light popped on, but it's driving. Decent power, no misfires or anything.
Oh, it feels good.
Feels good.
It's got a little bit of a misfire.
Yeah, the plug sets still have to clean out a little bit. It's got a CVT though. Not fun.
We've been on this road before.
Yeah, with a misfiring Chevy.
Yeah.
The parts cannon Chevy. Don here gets the best parts cannon case studies. I gotta tell you guys, I know when he calls, it's gonna be a good one. Yeah, we just got some misfires and
Is that what the code is?
throttle control performance. Or just delete them all. So we're running on fresh oil now. He drained about what 6 quarts of liquid something and put 4 quarts of 5W30 synthetic. DTCs have been cleared. No more check engine light?
She's gone for now.
She's gone for now, okay.
No more money light.
So, I'd love to know the actual story of how this car ended up in this situation. I'm guessing that it would have to be the owner, the driver, who put the mystery fuel in it. Right? Because, I mean, the guy who changed the fuel pump, he probably just changed the fuel pump. He didn't change the fuel. So, you know, maybe the lady left out a little detail, like, hey, it just happened after I filled up. That would have been a big clue.
Yeah, to be fair, she is in her
She's 80 years old.
80s,
Yeah.
70s, late 70s.
And we'll give her the,
So,
you know, we'll give her some slack. But hey, it's back on the road, running's definitely fixed.
oh yeah, she's cleaning up really well now.
Yeah. Not bad for a 2 liter. So, just make sure our fuel trims are good.